Hey friends, want to save some time in Excel? Thank you. In this tutorial, I'll show you the 10 most powerful basic functions like sum, average, if, and more that every beginner must know. Stick around because these simple tricks will make your Excel work faster and easier. Let's get started. The first function to know is the sum function. The sum function adds numbers together. We have sample data here that contains fruits, quantities, price per unit, and total cost. You are supposed to use this information to calculate the total number of fruits sold and also calculate the total cost of fruits sold. You begin by selecting this cell and enter is equal sign and type sum and hit tab. Now you can select the range that contains the quantity and hit OK. You can see the total is counted down here. Next is to calculate the total cost of fruits sold. We hit this cell again, press is equals and type sum, then hit tab. Now you can select the range that contains the cost and hit OK. Now you can see we were able to use sum to solve problems. The next function is the average function. The average function finds the mean of numbers. Here we have sample students' data and we are supposed to find Brian's average score across maths, English, and science, and also find average math score for all the students. We commence by Brian here, type is equals, and type average here, then press tab, select the range of the subjects and enter OK. And you can see the average is 86 for Brian, and we can drag down here and see through all the answers. Now to calculate the average math score, hit this cell again, type average, right? Press tab, select the range that contains the math score and hit OK. Now you know how to use the average function. Next is the minimum function. The minimum function finds the smallest number in a range. Here we have sample data that contains products and their sales in the first 3 months. We are supposed to use the information here to calculate the lowest number of phones across the 3 months and also the lowest January sales among all the products. Here on the phones row, we type again mean, right? Press tab and select the range, the months here, and hit OK. Now you can see the lowest sales for phone was 110. You can drag down here to see through all the products, right? Now to calculate the lowest sales among all products in January, this cell in January here, then again type min function, right? And type and hit tab, select the range here and hit OK. Next we go to the maximum function, right? The max function finds the highest value in a range. Here we have sample employee data and we are supposed to find Dante's highest sales in a week and also find highest week 1 sales among all employees. So we hit the Dante's rows here, right? Type max, right? Hit tab, select the range here, the weeks, and hit OK. You can see the highest sales is 320. You can drag down here to see through all the results, right? Now to calculate the highest sales among week 1, hit this cell here, type is equals again, max and press tab, select the range here and hit OK. To see through all the results, drag here the edge and we see all the results. The next function is the count function. The count function counts how many cells contains numbers. Here we have sample students' data that we are supposed to use count to calculate. We are supposed to count how many test scores Peter did, right? And also calculate how many students have scores recorded for test 1. We begin by Peter here, right? That is equals, then type count, right? And press tab, select the range of tests, hit OK, and you can see Peter only recorded 2 tests, right? Drag down here to see through all the results. Now to calculate how many students recorded for test 1, that this cell again, here we type count, press tab, Then we select the range here and hit OK. Now you can see you know how to use the count function. The next function is the counter function. The counter function counts all non-empty cells. Here we have employee information and we are supposed to use count to count how many non-empty cells John has, right? And also Catherine, and also count how many employees has an ID. We select this cell here that contains John's information. Then we type is equals and type counter, right? Press tab. Then we can select John's information here and hit OK, and you can see it's in 5 cells. Then we can drag down here to see through all the results. Now to calculate how many employees has an ID, come here on this column, the ID column, type is equals again, type counter again and press tab. Then we select the range, contains the ID and press OK. And you can see only 4 students registered for their IDs, right? Now the next function is the if function. The if function checks a condition and returns 1 if result is true and other is false. Here we have sample student data and we are supposed to count if the score is 50 and above, indicate pass, otherwise fail. And also if the score is 80 or above, indicate excellent or otherwise need to improve. Here we start with the result, right? That is equals as usual and type if, press tab. If this score is greater than 50, right? A comma, then open a quotation mark here, the pass, right? Close our quotation marks, a comma, else fail, right? Quotation marks again, and hit enter. You can see Leo passed his exam. Then we can drag to see through all the results. There was only 1 fail. For the comments here, again we start with if, right? Then tab. If this score is greater than 80, right? Indicate the comma here, excellent, right? Excellent, right? Comma, quotation marks here, then a comma. Otherwise, the student needs to work hard. Right? And get an A. Then we close our quotation marks here and hit OK. You can see Leo was excellent. Can drag down here. Oh, and my students need to work hard. Next is the trim function. The trim function removes extra spaces from text. Here we have employee information, which is messy data. We have to clean the spaces in between. That is equals, then type trim, right? Then you hit tab. Then you select this data here and hit OK to remove the spaces. Then we can drag down here to see through all the names. And you can see now they are as green as a whistle. The next function is the proper function. The proper function capitalizes the first letter of each word, right? Here you can see we have some messy data here and we want to fix the data. We begin by typing is equals, then proper function, right? Proper, then we hit tab. Then we select this cell that contains the name, hit OK. You can see now that our first name and our last name contains capital letters, right? We drag down here to see through all the names and our data is clean as a whistle. The next and the last one is the concact function. The function joins text from different cells. Here we have employee information and we want to join the information. We want to join the first name and the last name and also join the name and department. We begin by entering is equals again here, type concact, right? Then hit tab as usual, right? And we select the first name here, enter a comma, open our quotation marks here, space in between, quotation marks, then we enter a comma here and select the last name, right? And hit OK. You can see the names were combined. You drag down here to see through all the results. Also, to add name and department here, again we commence by entering is equals. Then we can type concat as usual, right? Let's tab again. You can select this cell here, contains the full name, right? A comma there, then our quotation marks, we want a dash between the name and department, right? Because our quotation marks here, a comma here, and hit on the department and hit OK. You can see our name and department were joined together. You drag down here to see through all the results, right? And that's how we go about it. Now you've just learned the most important basic Excel functions that will make your work faster and easier. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, drop a comment with the function that you like the most, and also subscribe to I Learned Excel Today for simple Excel tricks. See you in the next tutorial.